What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video we are going to be discussing the UFC Apex Hall of Fame, or I could say the UFC Apex All-Stars tier list in terms of like the categories that these guys fit into. Guys and girls, we're talking about fighters that you will see at the Apex on any given Saturday night. These are the people we're talking about. Obviously there's some fighters that, you know, they appear at the Apex almost every other weekend. There's some that you feel like you just see them on almost every Apex card. So yeah, similar to how, you know, you've got like a draft, like an NBA draft or an NFL draft, and you've got like the rounds, like he's a second round pick, he's a third round pick. We're talking about the first, second, fourth, fifth, and sixth round picks for the UFC Apex All-Star lineup. Like and subscribe, let me know who I missed. There's a lot of fighters who fight on Apex cards, obviously, so I'm going to miss a few, certainly. But anyway, let's get started with the first fighter. So we're going to start off with Sean Strickland. Who better when you're talking about UFC Apex Hall of Famers? Now, Strickland has kind of escaped the Apex, so he is kind of branching away from his roots, but at his core, he will always be a UFC Apex Hall of Famer. I genuinely think he's the GOAT of the Apex. Like, real ones remember the 4-fight run, basically, of the Uriah Hall fight, the Jack Hermansson fight. Obviously, he got chinned by Pereira in between, and then we went straight back into the Cannonier fight, and then the Nasruddin Imavov fight, and then the Abbas Magomedov fight. But it was mostly that 4-fight run before the Abbas fight, where he was just that 5 to 10 range in the rankings, and you could just bank on this man going 25 minutes, throwing about 600 fucking jabs in the entire fight. And you could just back him to throw jabs and teeps the whole time and win a competitive 48-47 split decision. You know, that was the Sean Strickland Apex experience. You know, you would get some shenanigans at media day, obviously, but it was a legendary run, and I used to pray for times like when I pray for times like when Sean Strickland would just rock up at an Apex like media day shit and say something like funny that was like actually funny instead of just like trying to be edgy, right? So yeah, that's the Sean Strickland we miss. I think we need to just factory reset this man. I know he's too big to put in the Apex. I know they're not going to do that, obviously. You can put him on pay-per-view, but petition to just make Sean Strickland fight like fucking, I don't know, just some random. Like, make Sean Strickland versus like Anthony Hernandez in the Apex. Just reset him, put him back to his default roots or some shit. He'll start talking about Mexicans hopping the border and stuff. Like, that's what we need for Sean Strickland. Anyway, I'm gonna speed through some of these people because I'm covering 48 fighters. So yeah, let's keep it moving. To Tatsuro Taira. I'm convinced this man lives at the Apex. I'm convinced this man took his first flight over to fucking America from Japan before his UFC debut, and they just kidnapped him and locked him in the fucking basement of the Apex, because at Vegas at least, because this man has not fought outside of Las Vegas. I'm not joking. Like, his UFC career, I will read it out. I know I said I'm going to speed through, but like, if you've watched my tier lists, you know I start yapping at the start, and then I realize I can't talk for like 2 hours, so I have to actually like take less than 2 minutes per person. But Tatsuro Taira, 16-1, his UFC debut on the Apex card, Blachowicz vs Rakic in the Apex. Then it was the Grasso vs Araujo Apex card. Then it was the Lewis vs Spivak Apex card. Then they let him out. They didn't let him out of the state. You know, he still had to fight in Vegas. He fought on International Fight Week. They sent him straight back to the Apex against Carlos Hernandez. The Tatsuro Taira running over a bunch of Latinos. The run in the Apex was crazy. Carlos Hernandez, Alex Perez, and then they gave him Royval and he lost. And then you want to know what's just happened? They've just booked him for his next fight. You want to know where? In the Apex. They are not letting this man free at all. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Let me just make sure my fucking voice is still recording. Hang on. What's going on here? But yeah, let's keep... What the fuck's this? Alright, we had some technical difficulties to figure out, but we got those sorted. So anyway, let's keep it moving. I actually am just speeding through these fighters now. Martin Bidet. Martin Bidet is a certified conveyor belt extraordinaire. I can't lie. This man, apart from Gaziev, Apart from him getting marauded by Gaziev at UFC 296, they have not let this man outside the Apex. Again, I would, if I had the time and if I was only covering like 15 fighters, I would actually go through their whole record and you guys would be able to see just how much the UFC despises some of these individuals. But I don't have the time. So yeah, let's move on. Grant Dawson, the missing link. Grant Dawson's a common feature at the Apex, I can't lie. He was for a very long time just a conveyor belt NPC, but he actually he got some personality, after that Garcia when he had a good post-fight interview, and then they let him out. He was like, oh, you promoted yourself on the mic? Oh my god, that's never before seen. Normally these bums just go in there and I'd like to thank my team and I don't know who's next. Give me anyone in the top 75. Alright buddy, you haven't done yourself anything there. But Grant Dawson actually had something to say, so alright, we'll let you out. And then he fought Diego Ferreira, and now they're probably going to give him an unranked opponent. Anyway, Michael Morales is up next. Let him out. Let Michael Morales out of the Apex. He's actually a fun fighter for the most part. He's just made to be boring because they're booking him against these random bums who are going to just not strike with him and just sit back and try and defend. So he's looking mid because he's just fighting old heads who aren't going to fucking try and exchange with him. So yeah, he fought his 2 fights outside the Apex, and then they're like, alright, that's too much fun. You got finishes? No, we can't have you getting exciting finishes. We're going to lock you away in the Apex and roll you out onto a fucking fight night card every 7 months. It's the weirdest prospect building ever. Michael Morales only actually has hype because hardcore fans exist. Because the UFC have not done a job of making any casual fans care about him at all. Anyway, Yusuf Zalal is up next. Yeah, this man just is the vibe of he's the embodiment of an Apex fighter. Him running around in circles against Kelvin Cater in rounds 3 was yeah, this man's built for the Apex, Anyway, next up we got Brad Tavares. Apparently he recently got supposedly cut, but I guess that he was just re-extending his deal. And he's back signed with the UFC, obviously. But yeah, Brad Tavares, he's a certified Hall of Famer. Again, this order means fuck all. If you watch any of my tier lists, you'd know the order of the tier list means nothing. Don't be like, oh, why'd you put this guy in this tier? The tiers don't mean shit. The tiers are just placeholders so I can actually put everyone here. And because I need to have even numbers, But what's the kid's name? Brad Tavares, yeah, man's certified Apex extraordinaire. Next up, though, Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson, yeah, they hate Charles Johnson. They do not want to let this man fight outside the Apex. They gave him back-to-back fights in crowds, and he actually had some decent fights. The first time they booked him in a proper crowd in a good spot with Josh Van. His debut against Makhachev in London doesn't really count. And then they gave him Jake Hadley in St. Louis, and then he fought Josh Van in Denver. And he actually got a finish. It was CGI. Obviously, no one would KO my GOAT, Josh Van. But yeah, Charles Johnson doing his thing, just in the Apex, winning and losing. That's how he does it. Anyway, Rodolfo Vieira's up next. This man's another one of those conveyor belt middleweight NPCs. You get lots of conveyor belts in the heavyweight division, and you get a lot of them in the middleweight division. They just roll out some 30 to 50 ranked middleweights and just somehow will still Armin Petrosian was a perfect example before he got cut. Of just these random 30 to 50 ranked guys that'll get one good win in their career and you'll think they're legit. They'll talk about Rodolfo Vieira winning fucking ADCC or some shit 20 times anytime he fights, and he'll just never actually grapple successfully. It's quite extraordinary to watch. Anyway, next up we got Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern's a common feature for the women's portions of the Apex cards. We see her main events some fight nights from here to here, or from time to time we see her rolled out in a co-main event spot again occasionally. But yeah, Mackenzie Dern, if you're watching an Apex card, there's a 25% chance she's there. Next up though, Anthony Hernandez. They're starting to let him out, but I think they're putting him back in because they let him out for the Brendan Allen fight. They unlocked the fucking doors. After he dominated Michel Pereira, they're like, alright, we'll give you Brandon Allen in fucking Seattle. And he had a close fight with Brendan Allen. They're like, no. We're straight. You're shit at fighting 3-rounders, buddy. Straight back to 5-rounders for you. And now they're apparently booked him against fucking Roman Dolidze for an Apex card the week after Tatsuro Taira. Tatsuro Taira and Anthony Hernandez are the kings of was on like crazy. Hernandez is right now. Tyra was until he lost. Just like crazy win streaks, but no crowd or no fans ever actually get to see them fight unless you tune in to watch a fucking Apex card. So yeah, shout out Anthony Hernandez, I guess. Good luck fighting Roman Dolidze. I forgot Dolidze on this list. He doesn't fight in the Apex all the time, but Dolidze's a very Apexy type fighter. Anyway, Waldo Cortez Acosta's up next. Yeah, just Salsa Boy, fitting the Apex vibe to a T. This man just gives you that Apex heavyweight vibe, you know. He has got some finishes though, so I can't call him like a conveyor belt NPC, because like he actually somehow knows how to fight, which is unusual for these heavyweights. You know, most of them are just bums. But yeah, Waldo Cortez, shout out. Anyway, Marcin Tybura. This is one of the goats this is a goat of the game. You know, Jairzinho Rozenstruik was up there. You know, Sergey Spivak's up there. Romanov was up there. You know, Blago Ivanov. All these guys, these heavyweight extraordinaires. Derek Lewis, who I forgot on this list too, but I don't consider Lewis that much of an Apex fighter. Like, he doesn't fight the Apex that much. But shout out Marcin Tybura. He's a great fighter. I'd love to fight him. I'd love to have a rematch in the Apex. Yeah, it's a cup of boy carbonate soda. Tybura, certified Apex blob extraordinaire. I think he earned his freedom and they let him out to fight Mick Parkin. They let him out to fight Janice, and then they let him out to fight Mick Parkin. But apart from that, this man's Apex maxing the whole fucking time. Next up though, we got Torres Finney. This man's fought like 4 times in the Apex. 3 of them are on Contender Series. You know what I'm in favour of? Is just keep him signed. I'm okay with having him on the roster because it just gives us someone to like hate watch. You know, you need to have like a hate watch every card. No card is complete without just a generational hate watch where you don't care about the guy who's winning, but you just want one guy to lose. And that's what we could have here with Torres Finney, is just keep booking him in Apex fights against unranked middleweights. No matter how many wins he has, just refuse to give him a ranked opponent. So it's basically like you're just keeping him on Contender Series the whole time. It's a win for the whole family, you know, it's a win for the fans. We never have to see this dude stink up a fucking fun, crowded fight night. You know, the Apex card's always dead anyway, so he'll fit the bill. Put him on the first fight of the night, set the tone. That's how you do it. Next up, Austin Lane, another conveyor belt NPC. They spiked some juice into this one in terms of they just customize a few of them. Sometimes they just print them out, they just click the buttons. You know, they just do that shit, and they're like, alright, yep, 5'10", 275 pounds, throws 12 calf kicks around and 7 jabs, will occasionally shoot a takedown into the fence and fail it. Like, they just programmed them. They changed his stats, you know, when they were printing him out. They changed Austin Lane's stats to have no chin. So they gave him like -10 durability. So this man just gets KO'd in highlight reel fashion every time. He's been laid out like 3 times in the Apex. It's tremendous to watch. Norma Jamont's up next. Norma Jamont's a common feature both in the cage and in my search history on a Friday night. You know, Norma Jamont, shout out. No, but you can always rely on a ranked women's bantamweight or strawweight. It's not always, most of the time it's not the flyweights. But if you're looking on like an Apex card, you get like a middleweight or like a heavyweight main event. You know, you look up and down the card, you're getting either a women's strawweight or unranked women's bantamweight. It's usually either a ranked women's strawweight, like you'll get a Tabitha Ricci or a Luana Pinheiro. I think we're getting her this weekend, you know. Proves my point. Or you'll get just unranked bantamweights, which is just tremendous stuff. So Mackenzie Dern, Norman Jamont, these type fighters, they're always featured. Edmund Shabazian's up next, so let Edmund out. Can we get this man back in front of a crowd? I think he is. I think he's fighting Andre Petrosky for whatever reason, because they just refuse to give him strikers. Just keep giving him wrestlers. That's how they derailed him in the first place, and now they're just going to keep fucking giving him wrestlers. I appreciate it, I guess. But no, Edmund, I don't know, Edmund's like, he fights in the Apex a lot. He does. I think he lives in Vegas. You see it with a lot of the Vegas guys. Ige's one. Tavares, I believe, trains at Extreme or whatever, I think. A lot of these, maybe that's completely off. That could be completely fake news. But a lot of these Extreme guys, a lot of these Vegas guys will just keep fighting at the Apex just every other fucking Saturday. Christian Rodriguez is up next. C-Rod is like an Apex fighter at heart. Occasionally they force him to fight in front of crowds and it doesn't usually go well. Like, he beat Raul Rosas, obviously, but like, apart from that, most of his wins are in the Apex. Like, you give him Austin Bashi in the Apex, Cameron Simon in the Apex, Isaac Dolgarian in the Apex. You give this man an undefeated fighter in the Apex, he's taken heads, you know. But as soon as he goes into a crowd, you know, Julian Erosa beats him in Denver, and then Melky Costa beats him at the Mexico card. So yeah, do not let this man out of the Apex. Just keep giving him. Yaida Deval is fighting this weekend. He's undefeated. He's a featherweight. If he wins with like a KO, give him to fucking C-Rod his very next fight. That's what we need to see. Anyway, next up, who we got? Let's see. What are we looking like for time? About 10 minutes. Next up though, Angela Hill. Angela Hill is the GOAT, the quote of the Apex, you know. Everyone, like, there'll be that one fucking dude, like that one annoying little woke cunt who's just trying too hard and it's like, I don't know, man, I think I got Valentina Shevchenko on my 6th spot on my GOAT list. It's like, yeah, shut up, bro, she ain't letting you hit. But no, if we're talking Apex, you know, women, they have to be separated in terms of, like, their own GOAT list. Like, you can make your women's GOAT list and it features about 4 fighters. Like, if you're doing a top 15 women's GOAT list, the number 15 fighter is probably someone who's never even fought for the belt. But Angela Hill, if we're talking Apex fighters, you know, we're inclusive here. No gender discrimination. Angela Hill is truly a pioneer of the Apex game. You know, no doubt about it. You'll see her on any other fucking card. Apparently she's got fight news soon. If you follow Bert MMA on Instagram, he posts the most random shit ever. Like, alright, unranked 37, ranked 37 fucking light heavyweight that doesn't even exist because the division has like 20 fighters, has fight news soon per this interview. Like, man has so much random information just stocked up on his computer to post. Anyway, shout out to him. But Angela Hill, guarantee her next fight's in the Apex. If not, it's a travesty, to be honest. You know, once there's like a gimmick going, it's kind of like, nah, just keep it going. Like, with Tatsuro Taira, like, as much as it's like, please, why is this man fighting in the Apex? Put him in front of a crowd. It's also kind of funny to just see him keep beating up people in the Apex, you know. But Angela Hill, shout out, truly a pioneer of the Apex game, you know. She's main evented, she's co-main evented, she's been chucked in even a feature fight, dare I say. If they're feeling real spicy, if they're really stacking a card, you might get an Angela Hill feature fight. But let's move on to the next fighter, JJ Aldrich. This is a generational pull here. JJ Aldrich mentioned on a Left Lane MMA tier list in 2025 is not something that I think many people thought was going to happen. But, you know, we're inclusive. This is how I prove I'm a fucking hardcore fan, because I'm sorry. I like Bedtime, and I do think he's a hardcore fan. If you watch his tier lists, you will quite literally just only ever see the most generic, like, ranked top 10, just known name fighter, like, known name, not no name, known name, like, everyone knows them. Alright, here you go, here's fucking Alex Pereira on the tier list. Me, I'm just chucking in some absolute randoms, like JJ Aldrich, crazy pull. Yeah, JJ Aldrich is a fucking generational Apex fighter, I can't lie. I think she's, like, actually fought outside the Apex a few times, but tell me you don't hear the name JJ Aldrich and you're like, yeah, that's an Apex prelim. that's the undercard of an Apex. You know, that's like the third fight when they put like 3 women's. Well, you know what I'm talking about. When they make an Apex card and they put like the first fight is like fat heavyweights, and the second fight is like women, and the third fight's women, and then the fourth fight's like unranked middleweights, and then the fifth fight's women. Like the first 5, when they just make the most absolute garbage, like 4-5 fight run to start the Apex card, JJ Aldrich is always one of those. You know, next up though, if you thought a JJ Aldrich pull was not good enough, how about a Weston Wilson pull? This man is on the conveyor belt. I'm convinced they have a program for just like print out random American bombs, like print out random NPC Americans. This one supposedly trains with Wonderboy. Yeah, good enough. And they're just like, alright, yeah, let's sign fucking 12-6 Weston Wilson or some shit, like, and they just come up with the goofiest names ever. Like, fucking AJ Cunningham got, like, a short notice step up, or, like, Mitch Ramirez or some shit, some Contender Series dude. Or who's like another one? Let me think. Who's that guy that got killed by Zaleski? Fuck. What's his name? Oh, no one's gonna know this. And if I pull this, it's actually insane. I gotta look that up. I genuinely don't know. UFC. I'm searching up UFC 309 because that was like the card after it, I believe. What's the kid's name? It was some. I'm gonna try and get it before I look. Zach Scroggin. I'm him. I actually didn't look that up. I'm checking now. It's Zach Scroggin. Yeah, Zach Scroggin. This is what I'm talking about. This is how you know I'm a fucking hardcore fan. Which YouTubers are pulling Zach Scroggin out of their fucking bag in a video? That deserves a subscription. But yeah, they're pulling out random American bums like Zach Scroggin and fucking Weston Wilson. And they're just customizing them. It's like 45 overall bums. Like, I love it. It's great. You always see, that's like a feature of an Apex card. You'll always get a random short notice step up American NPC, like AI generated career mode name, you know. Next up though, Stevie Garcia. Steve Garcia is actually fun, so I don't know why he's in the Apex so much. He's a fun ass fighter, but I guess the UFC doesn't like fun, to be honest. But anyway, let's move on. Keep it moving. He's fighting outside the Apex next fight though, but he's like in his last 3 fights, he's got like 3 round 1 KOs over just some like decent fighters, but they just, until now they give him Cater on that Nashville card, I believe, headlined by Derek Lewis versus Taliesin Teixeira. What a banger. But yeah, next up though, Nicholas Motta, another random ass pull. Let him out. This man got fucking brutally KO'd by Manuel Torres, and then before that, I think, or after that, he brutally KO'd Tom Nolan. So yeah, he's actually fun, and he fought in China like against Mahashate and looked pretty solid. But apart from that, they've been kept slamming this dude in the Apex. Like I think he fought Trey Ogden in the Apex. I believe he fought Dan Argueta. No, that's a bantamweight. I believe he's fought a bunch of randoms in the Apex, but he's actually pretty fun, so let him out. They had him booked against Ludovic Klein on the Paris card, and then he pulled out. He was going to get absolutely butchered by Ludovic Klein. Anyway, next up, Amanda Ribas, just another typical women's NPC that you'll just see on like the feature fight or like a fucking main card opener, you know? You'll get Tabitha Ricci versus or like Amanda Ribas, Tabitha Ricci, or Amanda Ribas, Jillian Robertson, or some bullshit like that. It's just, you know, that fight's been on an Apex main card. Next up, though, Neil Magny. Now, my Neil Magny argument here is he might be fading away from his GOAT status of an Apex fighter because he's just been booked. Breaking news on the show, he's just been booked to fight Gunnar Nelson on UFC 318, the New Orleans card with Dustin Poirier and Maximus Holloway. So Neil Magny, he's going to probably lose and he's going to have to get back to his roots. That is a fucking certified unk fight. I think Dana went to the matchmaking meeting, was like, alright, who are we fucking killing Neil Magny next? Like, who are we using to fucking kill Magny next and get a highlight reel? And then Hunter's like, just a change of thought, like, maybe we could like give him a winnable matchup, like someone his age. Dana's like, you know, that's not a bad idea, kid. Yeah, let's call up Gunnar Nelson. I'm shocked Gunnar Nelson's fighting twice in the year. That's actually the most shocking thing ever. Anyway, though, next up, Patrick Sabatini. I had to double check because I was like, nah, surely I swear I've seen this dude fight in arenas before. Apart from the Lopez fight, they dragged him off the fucking conveyor belt to get killed by Lopez. Like, I'm pretty sure every other one of his fights in the UFC has actually been in the Apex. Which is insane, because, like, yeah, he's boring as fuck, so I respect it. Dude's 34, by the way. Full 34-year-old up-and-comer. Coming off the best performance of his career, but he's 34, so that's tough. But, where's Patrick Sabatini? Apologies. Yeah, so, Joanderson Brito in the Apex, Jonathan Pierce in the Apex. He got killed by Lopez, obviously that was in a crowd. Lucas Almeida was in the Apex. Damon Jackson lost, where he got finished in round 1 by Damon Jackson, was in the Apex. Beat TJ Laramie in the Apex. Beat Tucker Lutz in the Apex. Beat Jamal Emmers in the Apex. Apart from Tristan Connolly, was his UFC debut, and that was in front of a crowd, UFC 261. Apart from that, yeah, it's been dismal stuff for Pat Sabatini. Dude has not been able to escape to save his life. Next up, Speed through some Muhammad Usman, conveyor belt NPC. You know what it is. They've booked this man out. This is his first fight. I think Muhammad Usman might actually he might crash. Like, his settings might malfunction because they've booked him outside the Apex against Hamdi Abdul Wahab, who surprisingly has not fought in the Apex, as far as my knowledge goes. But Muhammad Usman, I don't know how he's going to go fighting in front of a crowd. It might be too much for him. So, might have to pick against him there. Jocelyn Edwards, another common feature of Apex cards. She's either just on Apex cards or she's just on prelims of, an arena fight night, to be honest. But next up, we got Haider Emil. I don't know why this man keeps getting booked in the Apex. I think he's had 3 UFC fights. They've all been in the Apex. This dude's fun as hell. So get this man in front of a crowd. Leon Edwards is up next. Now, he's fought at the Apex once against Bilal, which is the most Apexy fight ever, by the way. They need to book a trilogy just for the Apex. Headline UFC Apex 200 or some shit. He's fought in the Apex once, but can we just relegate this man permanently to Apex cards? I guarantee you not a single person would care if from here until the end of Leon Edwards' career, every single one of his fights was an Apex main event. No one would care. It actually does not even benefit him or the fans to have him fight in London. He's not even a draw. Any people from the UK watching this video, do you give a fuck about Leon? Are you paying money to go, paying $1,000 for tickets, because that's how much they cost. They cost $1,000. Are you paying that money to go see Leon? If Paddy Pimblett, Tom Aspinall, Arnold Allen, and even Nathaniel Wood are on the card, and then Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards is genuinely the 4th or 5th lead attraction, So I say we relegate this man to the Apex cards permanently. And yeah, that's what we do. Next up, though, Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen, in his short UFC tenure, it's not really short, he's been around for a minute. This man is putting up, he might be on the Mount Rushmore. I'm yet to determine the Mount Rushmore. In the comments, if you made it this far in the video, it'd be good to know if I have engaging content and you guys are still watching, or if I'm talking to no one. But if you comment down below, who is your Apex Mount Rushmore? If you had to say who are the 4 most iconic Apex fighters of all time, not right now, not who's headlining now, but just across the history of the use of the Apex, who has been the 4 most featured, the 4 most iconic Apex guys? But Brendan Allen's up there, because apart from his last 2 fights, which have been in front of arenas, and to be fair, he did fight Bruno Silva in an arena, but Chris Curtis decision, Apex card, Paul Craig Apex, Maniz Apex card, Christoph Jotko was an Apex card, Jacob Melkut, that was an arena card to be fair, Sam Elvey was on an Apex card, the Chris Curtis first loss was on an Apex card, the Punahele Soriano was in an Apex card, the Carl Roberson fight was in an arena to be fair, the Strickland fight though, Apex, Kyle Dorcas fight, Apex, but recently, this man was on, am I wrong in saying Brendan Allen just feels like an Apex fighter? It feels like this dude has just exclusively fought in the Apex. And as soon as he gets out the Apex, he loses, is what I'm saying. Anyway, though, Trey Ogden's up next again. You come to the Left Lane channel for Trey Ogden and JJ Aldrich mentions. That's what you subscribe for. Trey Ogden, I don't know, he just feels like one of those random fucking bums, hobos. I'm convinced Trey Ogden's just a random junkie on the streets of Vegas, who they just they pulled out of the casino and just pumped him full of a few roids and just taught him how to shoot a takedown and just said, hey, come to the Apex, we got something for you, we got a gig for you. And they just shipped him out there every time, because who the fuck is Trey Ogden? Anyway, Andre Petrosky's up next. He's the epitome of a middleweight conveyor belt guy. Most of the conveyor belts are fat heavyweights, but the middleweights do get a feature sometimes, and Andre Petrosky gets just wheeled out there to just do the exact same thing every fight. Mick Parkin's up next though, He's been fighting in London a bit, but I would say Mick Parkin is still a common feature on the Apex cards. He just feels like a guy who just comes in and stinks it up on an Apex card, to be honest. Anyway, though, Sadik Yusuf's up next. Let them out, I guess. He's fun. Like, Sadik Yusuf's a fun fighter. He's fighting again here this weekend. I thought I was over-exaggerating it, apart from the Lopez fight. Like, I swear to God, it's a thing with, like, Lopez opponents. Sabatini as well. Even, like, a Gavin Tucker type guy. But, like, these dudes exclusively fight in the Apex, and they let him free to get killed by Lopez, and they send him back. And so, alright, you're back to fighting nobodies on Apex cards. So, Sadik Yusuf fighting Myron Santos this weekend. I think Sadik's going to lose. I could see him winning for sure, but yeah, I don't know. Sadik's another guy who fights in the Apex a lot. Vettori's up next. Vettori's the Apex vibe. He's the epitome of it, but he hasn't actually fought there that much. It was he fought Dolidze there. He fought Cannonier there. He fought Kevin Hollands there, I believe. But that was during COVID, so that don't really count. But yeah, like Vettori, he feels like he's fought at the Apex so much more than he has. But he actually like typically fights in front of crowds. Or Paulo Costa, to be fair. But yeah, he's not like just, you don't see just like every fucking week, it feels like you're seeing Vettori on an Apex card. And now he's fighting in an arena against Brendan Allen. Next up though, we're speeding through these last few. Cannonier, enough said. Cannonier is a fucking... Cannonier and Strickland's rematch needs to headline some sort of milestone event for the UFC Apex cards. UFC Vegas 150. We can't wait till 200. Vegas 150 will still be a few more years. Cannonier might be retired. So, worst case, we don't get it on a number. It's just a normal card. Normal Apex card. We need this shit ran back for a historic fucking battle. This might determine, like, who is the face of the Apex. Like, they might need to build a monument of the winner of this fight outside the Apex. Next up, though, Alexander Hernandez. Yeah, this man can't get out of the Apex. Let me pull up Alexander Hernandez. Jamie, pull up Alexander Hernandez. Surprised Joe Rogan doesn't talk about him more often. His nickname's the Great Ape. I thought as soon as he hears any sort of animal name, he's just having a fucking aneurysm. But Hernandez has just been Apexing the whole fucking time. Kurt Holloway Apex card, Damon Jackson Apex card, Bill Alger Apex card, Jim Miller Apex card, Billy Quarantillo, that was a pay-per-view. The Moicano fight, okay, to be fair, he had a run there where he got a few. But Mike Breeden Apex card, Thiago Moises Apex card, Chris Gruchishigamachta Apex card, Drew Dober, I believe, was an Apex card, Francisco Trinaldo, I believe, was probably an Apex card. If I'd had to guess. Yeah, a lot of Apex cards for my boy Alexander Hernandez. Oh no, the Trinaldo fight was in 2019. What am I saying? But Hernandez is just recently. There's been fucking There's three combinations. There's three pairings of things that are just meant to be. You know, you got peanut butter and jelly. You got John Jones and legal trouble, and you got Alexander Hernandez and Apex cards going to split decisions. Apex fights going to split decisions. That's the Hernandez way, and you can bank that every time you fucking get him stepping in there. Anyway, who we got next? We got Alex Morono. Yeah, conveyor belt kind of guy. Alex Perez is up next. Another Alex. Yeah, it feels like this dude just hasn't got outside the Apex in a minute, has he? I think his last non-Apex fight was when he got subbed by Pantoja, like, immediately. He doesn't fight very much, though, to be fair. Next up, we got Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy, it feels like he's just like a slave to the Apex. Like, he actually fights in like Abu Dhabi and London a bit, and he's only fought in the Apex like twice. I think his two main events, I believe, have been his only Apex fights. But it just feels like he's like an Apex guy, you know. That's what it feels like to me. Next up, Jared Gordon. Gordon doesn't actually fight in the Apex too much, but he feels like a guy who does. Like, Jared Gordon, to me, is like, he'd be like, oh, Jared Gordon's fighting this weekend on an Apex card. I'm like, yeah, checks out. You know, that's like a staple of the Apex cards. You got a random women's strawweight fight, couple unranked women's bantamweights fight, couple fat heavyweights. You know, you got a middleweight main event. You're getting like a top 20 to 40 lightweight kind of fight on there, like a Jared Gordon type, or a Thiago Moises is another good example. One of these kind of guys. You're always getting that type of fight on these Apex cards. Next up, GM3. You thought it was over. It's not over. We still got more to come. GM3 is definitely an Apex All-Star for sure. I'm skimming through this. I can't be bothered with this video anymore. I'm talking about bums just fighting in the Apex for half an hour. Themba Gorimbo. Yeah, man got choked out cold by Luke as soon as they let him out. Lock him back in there. Fucking put him back in his cell in the Apex, you know. He's in solitary confinement, bro. Macy Chiasson, another fucking random pool here. Macy Chiasson fighting in the Apex. It's a common occurrence. Jack Hermansson's a common feature when he actually fights, which is not often. He's fighting Gregory Rodriguez, to be fair, on a pay-per-view, so that'll be interesting, but feels like Hermansson's another one of those guys where they like just ship him over from fucking Europe and just chuck him in. They give him like a 6-month stay in the Apex. He'll be like, alright, do you reckon you could get 2 fights in 6 months? Nah, alright, send him back to fucking Norway. But if they can keep him for like 8 months, they'll book him a second fight in that time, you know. Because they know if they send him back to Norway or whatever the fuck, where he's from, Iceland, they ain't getting him back for like another year. I think that's genuinely what happens. It's like they convince him, they're like, come on, Jack, if you want to fight, we'll get you another fight this year. And he's like, no, I don't want to fight this year. So they send him back to fucking Europe, wherever he's from, and then he just doesn't fight the rest of the calendar. A couple more. Julian Erosa. Another guy who seems to be like a real Apexy vet kind of dude. And then last up, Rani Yahya. Yeah, I'm pulling out all the random shit from my ass here. Rani Yahya, Julian Erosa, fucking and JJ Aldrich, you know, the whole shebang. But that will do it, guys. There you go. Sorry about the lack of content recently. I just can't be bothered, to be honest. It's very demotivating to post videos when I'm gaining like 4 subscribers a day and like getting like no views and no money because I'm demonetized. You know, it's not very encouraging, but I will persevere and push forward because I still enjoy making videos. I just need shit to actually post about. So yeah, if you got more video ideas, let me know. I got some other ones, but I'm just waiting for like the right time to post them. Like it feels like a good time. I got some more ideas and shit, but yeah, give me video ideas and I'll post more. Anyway, goodbye. See you later.